Get ready for a heartwarming adventure. In today's video, we're sharing incredible stories of humans helping animals in need and receiving the sweetest thank you in return. From daring rescues to simple acts of kindness, these animals found adorable ways to show their gratitude. Hi everyone, Shai here. I hope all of you are doing good. Welcome to another new video. If you've ever wondered how a wild creature can say thank you, this is the video for you. Sit back and prepare to be amazed by some of the most touching moments between humans and their animal friends. So, here are some real-life stories of when humans helped animals and got thanked in the cutest way. Number 1. Dog gives thank you kiss to firefighter who saved him. This cute pup from Wellsham found itself in a little bit of a pickle when it got stuck on the roof of its house. Apparently, it had climbed onto the roof through an open upstairs window and then just got stuck up there. Luckily, a neighbor saw it and called the fire department. He even stayed nearby with the pooch until the firefighters arrived. The dog didn't seem to be nervous or scared, but when the firefighter climbed onto the roof, it seemed very happy to finally have some company up there. The firefighter opened an upstairs window, and just before he grabbed the dog to get it back inside the house, the sweetest thing happened. The pup decided to give its rescuer the most adorable public form of appreciation, a shower of kisses. The onlookers on the street couldn't contain their excitement at the cuteness overload they were witnessing. Even the firefighter gave up a big smile and let the pooch lick him all over the face. What a heartwarming moment. Number 2. This rescue cow acts like a... People don't usually see cows as creatures that enjoy cuddles and belly rubs like dogs, for example. We tend to think of cows as livestock animals that don't need rescuing because they have a purpose to fulfill, ending up on our plates. But this organization in Brazil is trying to debunk those preconceived ideas about cows. The Amor Salceino's purpose is to rescue animals who are victims of exploitation in the meat, milk, and egg industry. The family that runs it became vegan back in 2017. And for a prime example of how cows can behave like giant puppies, here's Francisco, a male Angus cow that was rescued from a dairy farm right before he was going to be sent to a slaughterhouse. The dark side of dairy farms is that they have no use for male cows. They don't produce milk. And when I say this cutie is big, he weighs in at 1,870 pounds. How's that for a lap dog? They bought Francisco for $38, and at first, he was understandably very wary of humans, seeing as he hadn't been treated very well in the past, but in no time, he warmed up, and now he wants attention all the time. He even goes so far as to push other animals away that are already with Luisa, one of his rescuers, to get her attention. He loves getting kisses and constantly demands cuddles. Francisco likes to lie beside Luisa and get belly rubs. Scientists need to check the genetics of cows because I think they may just be very big dogs. Number 3. Lone baby deer asked if this couple heard a baby deer bleating like a sheep on their property one day. He was all alone out there. His mother had probably died. The vet didn't have enough room for him, so they decided to raise him. But from the beginning, they knew they were going to raise him like a wild deer, not like a pet. They built a large enclosure out in the garden and also slept in a tent outside with him so he'd feel safe at night. They fed him every 3 hours from May through September. By the time he was 4 months old, he was out in the wild, but as soon as they called his name, Thor came running back to get his bottle of goat milk, because apparently baby deer can't have cow milk. Never have that kind of experience with a wild animal. Thor is now 2.5 years old, and he still hangs out on the back porch of their house. Deer can actually smell their relatives, and so all the females from the area are Thor's aunts, cousins, and sisters. But being an adult male, Thor's probably chasing after some young doe somewhere, but not his relatives. He disappears for periods of time, sometimes even for a month, but the area around the house seems to be his home range. He's never too far away from his beloved human parents. Thor walks in 2 different worlds. He is a wild buck that has a very close relationship with the humans that saved him. He's now part of a local herd, and because he trusts his humans, they all sort of do too. This couple is in this wonderful circle of trust with a wild deer herd that is very special. Before moving on to the next point, I'd like to take a moment to introduce you all to my merchandise. You can support my content by getting your favorite products from my store or by simply joining my channel. Your support means a lot to me. Now, let's get back to the video. Number 4. Whale rescued from fishing net. Michael Fishbuck, co-founder of the Great Whale Conservancy, and his family had a life-changing encounter with a young humpback whale that had tragically gotten severely entangled in local nylon fishing nets. The whale was exhausted, and the nylon nets had pinned both flippers to her body. She was being weighed down and wouldn't have the strength to get to the surface of the water to breathe. They called the local authorities, who told them that in an hour, perhaps a boat would be able to get there. The poor whale might not be alive by then. Armed with a tiny little knife and a whole lot of determination, the group decided to take matters into their own hands. No, grab that pip, grab that pip. They managed to get some of the net on board. The whale, feeling a sense of freedom, started to swim away, so they had to literally chase after the giant to get the rest of the net off her. Eventually, they did it. The whale was finally free to live her life as she was always meant to be. For the next hour, the grateful humpback whale provided the group with an incredible full-surface display. She did at least 40 majestic breaches, as well as tail slaps and pectoral fin slaps. This was at least a show of pure joy, if not the immense animal saying thanks to the 5 people who saved her life. They followed her for about 40 miles and then said their final. Number 5. Hissing feral cat falls in love with the guy who rescued him. Purely by chance, Cutest, the founder of Tacky's Shelter, came across a feral kitty who had gotten himself into a very scary situation. His head was stuck in a can. That not only hurts, but it also keeps the cat from being able to see and, most importantly, to eat and drink water, which means that if the kitty stays like that for too long, it'll slowly starve to death. That's just a horrific way to go for any living creature. Cutest grabbed the terrified cat and took him to his car, where he carefully removed the can. The cat was immediately taken aback. It found itself inside a car with a man he didn't know, so he started hissing and snapping at Cutest, who now had a very difficult decision to make. Should he take this feral cat back to his shelter with all his other cats? It could be a disaster, and at the same time, in his shelter, the kitty would be well fed and safe. He couldn't make such a huge decision, so he opted to let the cat decide for himself. He opened the door and counted to 10. If the cat stayed inside the car when he reached 10, then he would take him to the shelter. He started to count, and he even said the number 6 several times to make sure the cat had plenty of time to decide. In the end, the kitty chose to stay with his new friend. After a few days, he was a completely different cat. He was calm and cuddly, ready to receive and give love. Number 6. Rescued kangaroo can't stop hugging the volunteers who saved her life. This is Queen Abigail, or Abby to her close friends, and she is the most affectionate and cutest kangaroo in the world. Abby was only 5 months old when she was found roaming around, orphaned. The rescuers took her in and brought her to the sanctuary where she still lives now. But Abby never forgot what the humans did for her, and she certainly has the most adorable way of showing her gratitude. Every single morning for over a decade, she has constantly shown her love and appreciation by giving her rescuers hugs and cuddles. Queen Abigail doesn't miss a day. First thing in the morning, she runs to her human friends to let them know she's never forgotten about what they did when she was only a baby. Without them, she probably wouldn't be alive, and she seems to know that with every fiber of her being. Wouldn't the world be a wonderful place if human queens were more like Abby? One thing's for sure, Abby certainly lives up to her title. Number 7. Dog sobs when she sees rescuer coming to save her. This poor little pup had found herself stuck in a deep well in a small village outside the city of Udaipur, India. There was no way she could climb back up by herself. Heck, there was no way a human could do that either without a rope, a harness, and people pulling from the top. But don't worry, the pooch started crying and barking, and some locals heard her. They decided to go down the well and rescue the poor dog. When she saw people were there to help, she started sobbing uncontrollably. Who knows how long she'd been stuck there? Poor thing! But her ordeal was far from over. Using climbing gear, the rescue team slowly lowered one of their men down the deep hole. This was no walk in the park, it was raining, and everything was very slippery. The rescuer was putting his own safety at risk. After some maneuvering, he finally reached the wagging pup. After comforting the pooch, who they named Ruby, he wrapped her in a blanket, and the pair were carefully hoisted back out of the well. Once out, another member of the team grabbed her and brought her to the surface and to safety. It was a miracle that they managed to save her. In fact, it was a miracle that they found her in the first place. Clearly, it wasn't Ruby's time to go yet. So, that was all for today. I hope you have watched the video up to this timestamp. Make sure to press the like button if it amazed you. Press the subscribe button if you still haven't subscribed to the channel, as it's totally free. You can follow me on all social media platforms. All links are given in the description. You can also watch other cool stuff. The playlist link is also mentioned in the description. I will catch you up soon in the next video. Till then, peace out.